The annual camping trip was coming up for Camp Galileo. I was in charge, and I was concerned. I had 3 good reasons to be concerned. First was that we knew nothing about camping. Second, did I mention, we knew nothing about camping. And third, we had a history of complete failures. Decades of failure with this overnight camping trip. Now let me explain one thing. Camp Galileo was good at one thing. And as some of you probably are guessing by now, that was socialist propaganda. Common in the summer camp world. And basically this camp was founded among some others in the 50s to encourage young Jewish kids to fall in love with kibbutz life and move to Israel. If you don't know what kibbutz life is, these are small communities in Israel based around the socialist principles of shared labor, shared resources, the values of hard work and communal living, right? So that's what we did best. We instilled these values in our kids by making them work in work groups. They had to clean bathrooms, bus tables, build shit around the camp. They had to share all their possessions. We had to have long, deep conversations about Marxist philosophy. And after meals, we'd sing songs like union songs, like, and maybe some of you know these, I don't know. I see someone nodding in the back. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm sticking to the union. You know it? I'm sticking to the union. Oh, you can't scare me, I'm sticking to the union. I'm sticking to the union to the day I die. Of course, there was the socialist anthem. Everybody sings that at summer camp, right? The international proletariat shall be the human race. Okay, so socialism, not bad in a weird kind of suburban, upper middle class way, but in the United States. But camping, not so much. Not so much. But for some reason, despite the repeated failures, we insisted on doing this overnight camping trip every year with about 150 plus kids, ages 9 to 15. And let me tell you something, people. When I say we didn't know what we were doing, we had no gear. We sent children into the wilderness with no tents, no rain gear, not even a tarp to put under them to protect them, all of us, from the morning dew, right? If you've ever been camping, at the very least, you put something underneath you, right? Yeah. So we would do this every year, and each year brought with it its own special disaster. It was like the plagues. There was the year we spent the night on Antietam battlefield and woke up all burnt to a crisp, as there are no trees on a battlefield. There was, of course, the siege of horseflies, and let's not forget the chigger infestation. You know what a chigger is? Did you see the PBS special? These are parasites that get under the skin, they crawl around and reproduce until you are covered in red dots, a live parasite underneath your skin. So this year, it was my turn to be in charge, and I really did not want these disasters to befall our camp under my charge. So I knew we still had no gear, but I thought at the very least I could devise an escape plan. Now, for some reason, historically, the buses would take us to the campsite, drop us off, and disappear. I don't know why. And whenever there was rain or whatever else came along and we tried to get them, it would be hours before the buses would come back. So I met with our business manager, Marilyn, several times, and I made her promise me that she would make sure that these buses were on call, that no matter what, they were nearby and they were ready to come at a moment's notice. So we headed out in these buses to a really nice campground in Pennsylvania. We got there, it was a beautiful day, and the site was beautiful. There was all these pine trees, it smelled of pine. There was a bed of needles that made the ground soft, and there was this huge field where the kids could play ultimate frisbee and hacky sack. And so as we were unloading the truck, we had a truck full of food, we were making campfires, and the kids were setting up their sleeping bags, all feeling good until I felt the breeze. Kind of a strong gust, a quick lowering of the temperature, and the smell of moisture in the air. That's when I looked up and I saw a huge black cloud crossing the sky towards us. Thought one, fuck. The buses had gone, and so I went up to my team. Al, who was the camp director, and Gil, who was the token Israeli. There was always a token Israeli there every year. They supposedly knew something about the outdoors because they had been through the army. Not so much Gil. So I go up to Gil, I'm like, Gil, hey, buses, where are they? He said, oh, they're gone. I said, I see that. I noticed that they're gone, but we're going to need them because the storm's about to come. We have 150 children in the woods right now that we're actually responsible for. He said, oh, no, they're not coming. I said, but wait a second. I talked to Marilyn. Marilyn reassured me that they would be here in a moment's notice and that they're on call. Yes, I know that, but Marilyn lied. Okay. So then, why can't we just call them and make them come anyway? Oh, because, it's a union policy that they not drive within 8 hours after they've already driven. Jessica knows. I said, a union policy? Fuck the union! We have 150 kids that we have to take care of, and before we could get a resolution, the rain came down, and this rain was bad. This was Noah's Ark rain. This was not little droplets. This was like sheets and buckets of water that I don't know where, like the sky opened and God like flushed its huge celestial toilet. I don't know. I had never been in something like this, and all I know is that we were panicked, and we were like the Three Stooges. We had no idea what to do. Like we were like, Gil, what do we do? I don't know. I mean, this was our leadership style. So Al steps in and he says, well, maybe we should get them under the trees. So we get the whole, we're like, kids, run to the trees. So they all run under the trees. We're thinking, I guess there's some cover there. And then we're thinking, okay, done. And then the lightning comes. And then we stand there again like, I don't know. What's the right thing to do when there's lightning? And seriously, among the three of us, including the Israeli who'd been through the army, we could not remember the right and wrong thing to do in a lightning storm. We were in charge. So we're like, I don't know. I think it's bad to be under the trees because the lightning might strike and a branch might break off and drop on them. And in our wisdom, we all agreed, yes, you're right. Let's get them out into the field. So we're like, come on, kids, let's go into the field. So we take them all into the field. And they're standing there and they're shivering and they're wet. And we're like, now what? And someone says, oh, shit, wait. We're in the middle of this field and now we're the tallest things. Isn't that bad? Isn't that what lightning looks for? We're like, yes, I think so. So we tell the kids, down in the mud. We make them go face down in like, at this point, 3 inches of water. They're drowning. And I'm like, now what? And Al, the director, says, I don't know, this wasn't in the Communist Manifesto. I don't think Marx liked to camp. Now, before we could do our next thing, a true miracle happened in the form of a Boy Scout troop, I'm not lying. There was a cute little Boy Scout encampment in their little safe, dry pup tents. And they were watching this whole thing unfold the entire time. I'm sure laughing and feeling smug and superior. So these Boy Scout kids come along, of course, full rain gear, just laughing at us without anything on that's rain anything. You know, they've got all down from the suit to those yellow hats. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So they come over and they bring us these 2 big tarps. They're these really heavy canvas, about 10 by 10, like a big carpet. And they hand these over to us. They're like, I don't know. They're like, we don't really know how to help you, but here, have these. So we take the 2 tarps and we get the taller and the older kids to ring the outside of each of the tarps, and then we shove the rest of the campers underneath. Okay, so now I was like, there's no way I'll be 10 minutes. So we shove the other kids underneath, and now we're talking like there's almost 100 kids under each of these tarps. And we stand under these like human-supported huts for a solid 4 hours. Yeah, tell me about it. It felt like a sauna. It stank like wet dog. We were starving. We were dehydrated. Some of the kids didn't remember their names. I'm not joking. We didn't even think to go get water. Finally, someone goes to the truck and actually gets some bags of hot dog buns and starts passing them around. I pretty much didn't take that much time between when the rain started and we ran out of ideas to completely check out. I just completely abdicated all leadership in all sense that I had to do anything in the situation. So I was under one of these tarps, being one of the smaller of the people. I wasn't holding it up, but I was in there, and I was also starving, hungry, tired, and while I thought about the possibility of, I don't know, a death, lawsuit, maybe everybody would start gouging each other's eyes out for the last crumb of hot dog bun, I didn't know. But while I did that, these kids sang. They sang for 4 hours straight. And they sang socialist songs, and union songs, and even happy hippie songs. Like, there is a season, turn, turn. And this held the group together for 4 entire hours. So by the end of it, when the rain stopped and kids dried off a little and the buses came back, whereas I considered it one of the worst disasters of my life, the kids were elated at which an amazing opportunity for group solidarity that was. So I'm a little bit disturbed by that, but at the same time, I'm relieved that that's the way they remember this experience. It's actually legendary in Galil history. But I will say this, it only affirmed 2 things. 1, that we really suck at camping, and 2, that we're amazing at socialist propaganda.